Sometimes it takes an earth-shaking event or a traumatic situation for the Lord to wake us up and shake us up to the fact that we can no longer depend solely on ourselves, but need something much bigger, something supernatural. It took a hurricane to rip nearly everything out from under me and bring me to a complete standstill. Before that, I was coasting along with no sense of urgency, taking life for granted and thinking that just as sure as the morning follows the night, tomorrow would be the same as today or yesterday. My attitude was complacent and lackadaisical. Then, boom, the big hurricane hit and caused one of the costliest floods in American history. Devastation was widespread and took us all by surprise. This was the beginning of adversities and setbacks for everyone in the path of this storm, regardless of their station in life. It was a real leveler, a common denominator. The floodwaters did not discriminate. They hit the wealthiest to the poorest, the elite to the lowliest. When you're in the middle of a calamity, just about every negative emotion comes rushing at you with full force: fear, anxiety, anger, sadness, disappointment, and frustration. Then you begin to evaluate your losses. But before becoming too discouraged, you're reminded that you're still alive. You may have lost all your possessions, but you still have your life. And where there is life, there is hope. At times like this, a person's faith is tested to the core, revealing one's fortitude. You look around and all you see is ruin and tragedy. Will you blame yourself? Will you blame God? Or will you do what Solomon exhorted us to do? Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. The Apostle Paul came to the point where he said, "None of these things move me, nor do I count my life dear to myself." I definitely have a long way to go on that one. I'm also learning that it doesn't take that much at all for me to get thrown out of orbit, out of my business as usual comfort zone, and become disoriented. While in the throes of a devastating circumstance, you're faced with two options: to fold up, give up shop, throw in the towel and call it quits, or to keep on keeping on and fight on to the victory. The tragedy that we were faced with when the flooding came virtually brought us to a complete standstill, not only in our daily life, but also in our work. On top of all that, my computer crashed, and it all happened without notice. I must confess at this point I began growing weary and weak in the knees with so many hindrances, one after another, obstructing the path of progress, and feeling that I had no substantial ground to stand on. How do life's tragedies affect you? Are you able to get back up and see the light on the horizon? It was like being without an anchor, tossed to and fro on the vast ocean with nothing to hang on to. That's when you really cling to the Lord with all your might. Then there's the comeback. When you're down on ground zero, there's only one way to go, and that's up. Sometimes God's way up is down. We have to come to the end of ourselves before He can really use us. Out of our seeming defeats come some of our greatest victories. Opportunity often comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. While this storm was a temporary setback, virtually bringing everything to a standstill for an entire year, it was also a comeback, both physically and emotionally. A time of counting our many blessings and seeing the positive side of things and lessons learned, faith strengthened, and victories gained. In the long run, this major setback apart from the trauma of literally having the carpet pulled right out from under us, force us to fight right on to the victory. With the Lord's help, not only can we recuperate from the tragic losses, but God can propel us over the top, and the result will make things even better than they were before. Through our setbacks, we can gain many victories. No matter what difficulty you are faced with, you can overcome them with God's help and learn the lessons of faith, patience, and endurance. This lesson learning time is fitly expressed in these words. Something very beautiful happens to people when their world has fallen apart. A humility, a nobility, a higher intelligence emerges at just the point where our knees hit the floor. When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and stay a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.